Prompt engineers teach smart machines such as AI chatbot ChatGPT how to respond in a way that would make sense to people. Prompt engineering is a creative and technological mix of giving instructions to AI so that it can give you an answer. You need to have a good natural language skills, for now most of it in English language, and also an expertise in your field. By combining these two, you can create relevant questions or prompts for the AI bot to respond in a better way. So that is what prompt engineer does. Now let's talk a bit about the future of prompt engineering, because right now if you look at few of the articles and videos, it is saying that you can earn an ugly amount of money like 300,000, 500,000 just for being the prompt engineer, and this role will last for a long time. I don't think so that will be the case in the future. I think that instead of being an exclusive role, prompt engineering will be a skill in the future, not an full-fledged role. For example, when Excel first appeared on the scene, we had Excel experts for a short time, but now most of the management and financial roles are expected to know Excel. No one hires a full-time Excel expert. So I guess in future everyone would have access to a domain specific specialized smart bot, and everyone would be expected to generate good prompts to train that bot to answer in a meaningful and tailored way. For example, in the role of cloud engineer, as a cloud engineer, you would want your AI bot to accurately answer the queries of cloud services users about what they can provision, for example, and what not. So you could provide prompt to your bot, for example, a prompt like, here is approved list of instance types which can be provisioned, or these are the list of tags and their values which must be present when someone provisions a resource. So primarily you are training this bot to be a virtual cloud engineer, making sure users are adhering to your organization's cloud policies. Now let's have a look at the real world examples as how this prompt engineering could be useful as a role of cloud prompt engineer. On your screen, you can see that I am in the playground, which is the OpenAI playground, and you just have to sign up to it to use it for free if you are just playing around. And I have a separate video as how to sign up and how to use it for the beginners. And I will put the link in the video's description. But for now, let's play around with it and see how it can help us out in the role of cloud engineer. Now, what I'm going to do here is to play the role of cloud engineer. And before I do that, let's see some of the settings in this playground. On your right hand side, two of the most important settings are temperature and maximum length. Temperature is set to 0 here, which means that I'm removing the randomness from the answers, and you can read the description if you hover over it. And then maximum length, I'm setting it to around 600 so that it will be a meaningful answer. Once you set that, then we can start our role playing as cloud engineer. So in order to do that, let's first tell this G, GPT-3 or the chatbot that we are considering him as a cloud engineer. For that, you just have to write this. And you can see here what I'm doing. I'm setting the stage here. Setting the context. I'm telling this bot that it's not something generic, it is specific. I'm telling it that, okay, you are playing the role of AWS cloud engineer and not just a cloud engineer, so that the answers would be tailored to the AWS. Moreover, I'm telling it that he is a specialist in the EC2 instances and its type. So, and then in the next line, the human is asking, who are you? So let's run it by clicking on submit button at the bottom. And you can see now this chatbot knows that he is the AWS Cloud Engineer who specializes in the EC2 instance type. Now let's make it a bit more generic, that instead of being an EC2 specialist as a cloud engineer, let's make it just a cloud engineer so that it would give us more generic answers. Now you can see the answers have changed and it is actually asking us, how can I help you today? Which is great. And he knows, this AI chatbot knows that he is a AWS cloud engineer. And we have narrowed the context to just AWS, not to Google Cloud or any other. Okay, now let's start by asking some questions around cloud engineering. And just imagine this AI chatbot is working in your organization and we have already trained it and we will see later how to train it. But for now, just imagine that this is specific to your organization and the users who are unaware of it are coming and asking questions. So let's, so there is, for example, let me ask this question. Sorry. So a user has come and asking that, okay, what EC2 type should I use for my SQL Server database? Submit and let's see what it says. Now you can see how good the answer is. It is recommending M5 instance, so which is actually quite accurate because M5 instances are the perfect balance between the cost and the performance. And this AI chatbot is also giving you the reason behind its answer. So which is great. Now let's ask another question. Now this time I'm asking it the questions around the security best practices of MySQL Server. Click on submit and you can see that it is giving some of the security best practices you can implement straight away. And all of them, if you are aware of your cloud engineering field or DBA, you would know that they are spot on. Now let's ask another question. And mind you, these questions are asked from the cloud engineers on day-to-day basis. And now instead of answering these questions to hundreds of users, the human cloud engineers can focus on their uplifting the infrastructure and doing some more productive work. And this manual question answer could be left to this virtual cloud engineer. Now let's ask this question. Here I'm asking, should I use RDS or EC2? Now let's see. Now, as you can see, again, it is giving us a quite a good answer that it all depends on the requirement and it is telling us where EC2 makes sense and where RDS makes sense. Now, let's ask one more question, which is a bit of a generic one. I'm asking it a question around my tagging, that which tag should I use as a standard. So you can see not only it giving us the tag, but also the description of those tags, which sounds great. Okay, now let's see another example. So let me clear this. Now in this example, I'm again telling it the role. The role is AWS Cloud Engineer. And then I'm asking it, who are you? So that I could confirm that it recognizes its role. And then I'm asking it a conceptual question about VPC peering and transit gateway. Now you can see it has pulled out quite a good simple explanation and telling us that what is VPC peering and what is transit gateway. And it is again spot on. And the reason why it is giving us so much accurate answers because our prompts are spot on. And what is the prompt? This question plus the context which I have set around the role. Okay, cool. Now let's ask it another question around design. So let me clear the screen. Now in this prompt, what I'm doing is I'm first setting the role again, and then I'm asking an advice from my AI chatbot around my solution design. That okay, this is my requirement. So which AWS service should I use? And it is quite a generic answer, a generic question, because I'm not really asking it about any service, I am asking this chatbot to suggest me a service. But I have narrowed the context down to AWS. So let's submit. And as you can see, again, spot on. It is telling me use SNS, which is used for my simple notification service. So let me ask another question on the basis of this previous answer from chatbot. I'm asking him, can I also send a dynamic custom message through that? Click on submit, and you can see that it is answering me in quite a detailed way. As yeah, first it is confirming yes, that can be done, and also which API to use for this dynamic custom message. Now let's change it a bit, and then instead of AWS, let's call it Azure. And I'm also changing it to Azure here. Click on submit. Now you can see it has changed its answer. Now it is giving me answer as per Azure, and instead of SNS, which is AWS service, it is giving me the answer about Azure Notification Hubs and Azure Event Grid. Okay, that is cool. Now let's ask it bit more complicated question around the design. Let me clear this, and then in this uh, prompt, what I'm doing is I am asking it the question around the AWS solution design, and I'm asking it how can I provision the static website, and also how can I secure it. So I'm not mentioning any AWS service. I'm just asking a solution design question. Click on submit, and now you can see it has very intelligently suggested me S3, which is a correct answer. Plus for security, it is suggesting me this CloudFront CDN and with SSL encryption. And then it is also telling me a best practice to use Route 53 DNS and to use the IAM to control the access. How cool is that? Now let's see how can we train this chatbot to um, satisfy the requirement of our own organization. So let me clear this window, and I'm going to give it a specific need in AWS as per my organization. Let me first paste, clear the screen and then paste my prompt. Now look closely at this prompt. What I'm doing it is that in the first two lines I am setting the role, but in the next three lines I am setting the prompt as per my organization or my company, and my company here is Fahad Mirza. So what I'm saying here is that I am posing it a question that what are the standard tags in my company, and I'm also telling it the answer. That answer should be standard tags in company Fahad Mirza are application name, owner, environment, and cost center. And then to make the context specific, I am telling it that this answer is specific to my company Fahad Mirza. So anyone who comes and asks this question should get the answer as per my company. Now, for example, someone comes and says, please let me know the standard tax in company for Mirza. So just run it, submit. As you can see, it has learned it and it is telling me standard tags in company for Mirza are this, and all four tags which I specified above. Okay, now let's see another example of training it. Let me clear the screen and paste my prompt. Now in this example, again, in the first two lines, I'm setting the role, and then I am teaching it that okay, if someone comes and asks about the service, you can tell them that okay, these services are not allowed, and mm, I have told it the question, which is AWS services are not allowed in my company, and then answer is AWS Neptune and QuickSight, and then let's train it. Answer, click on submit. Now, if you click on submit without um, putting it the user's question, it is just going to give you a generic answer, which you can ignore, which is fine. Clear it. Now Let's see someone comes and asks us this question. Can I provision AWS Neptune in cloud of my company, Fahad Mirza? Click on submit. And as you can see, on the basis of the training which we gave it above prompt, it is telling me no, AWS Neptune is not allowed. So you can imagine that sky is the limit here. Now, as per the role of the cloud prompt engineer for any organization, if you are adept in your own field like cloud engineering in AWS, Azure, GCP, and then you have a relatively good grasp of English and you know how to set the context and how to make it more specific, then you can train your models in your OpenAI, and then on the basis of that model, whenever the users come in, they could get the answer without bothering you. So you could reduce your workload a lot. Now, after this, you need to remember three tips which will come very handy for you in terms of prompt cloud engineers, and these tips are valid for any other prompt engineers. So these are the three tips. First, provide clear instruction and examples. Just I in my case and in the examples what we just saw, we are setting the stage, we are giving it quite a good context with examples, and then after learning from those examples, this chatbot was able to generate high quality and accurate responses. Secondly, make sure that you're aware of thesaurus, and and you should come across lot of synonyms and antonyms, and then you should be using those synonyms and antonyms in your prompts. Once that's done, make sure that you are using the grammatically correct English, especially the verbs. As long as you do these simple things, you should be good to go. I hope this was useful and you got an idea that how cool this new brave new world is. And but don't worry, your job is not going anywhere. It is just improving your job and freeing up you to do more meaningful work. I hope this was useful. Please put them in the comments if you have any feedback. Thank you.